Today on the Pro-Life Podcast, has inflation got you down? Well, Stacey Abrams has a solution that I'm pretty sure you haven't thought of yet. Grab your coffee. We have to talk about this. Let's get started. Happy Tuesday, Pro-Life family. It is a great day in Houston for some obvious reasons. Oh my gosh, pull up a chair, grab your coffee. I hope you love the Astros as much as I do. If not, that would be awkward if we run into each other on the street. Which actually has happened to us recently. Happened to me. I was at the Texas Homeschool Coalition dinner this weekend and had a couple of people like, hey man, love the podcast. I was like, well, this has never happened before. It's a little awkward.
Oh, you're famous
and weird.
now. Yeah.
And apparently it's not just me, because I told Kim this morning, and she said same thing happened at church.
Hello, Jessica.
Yes. Oh, she's going to be so happy. My friend Jessica saw Kim at church, and she fangirled her. So that's nice.
Good times.
And then
Good weekend all around.
I sat down at the table, and Dr. Sego's parents, also Doctors Sego.
There are so many doctors.
There's so many doctors in that family. Are sitting across the table and they're like, oh my gosh, I love the podcast. And they're telling the other couple who are just mad about how much they love it. And I love that they summarize exactly what we're trying to do here about taking news and current events and put it through the pro-life lens so you can understand what you need to know and how to talk about it. I was like, you uncoached and unprompted described what we want to do.
With a healthy dose of sarcasm.
So Doctors Sego, to all the doctors Sego who are watching, thank you guys so much.
We're a baby podcast, but gosh, share with your friends and family, because it is such a great way to get pro-life news without having to, murk in the mire of horribleness. It's so much more fun this way.
But first, please introduce yourselves.
I'm Kim Schwartz. I'm the Director of Media and Communication.
I am Veronica Arnold-Smither. I work in the Education Department.
Brett Klingerman, IT Director. Okay, important stuff out of the way.
Yep.
Which, Stacey Abrams, you want to discuss Stacey Abrams?
She cray, y'all. Okay, so we already talked about her quite a few podcasts ago, because she said that heartbeats are manufactured by the patriarchy to control women's bodies. And that's
There's just
ridiculous.
a guy behind the machine with like two coconuts just banging
And
them together.
now, here she is saying that the reason we are worried about inflation is because we have too many kids and we should stop having kids.
Right.
And, oh my gosh.
It was such a ridiculous clip. We're going to drop that here.
How about like right now?
Let's listen to this clip, because you really have to hear it.
Go for it.
I would assume, maybe incorrectly, but while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do.
It's funny
cringe.
that this MSNBC anchor here has started out with like, this isn't the concern people have on their minds. Like, this is the only time you may ever hear me say, well, no, I'm not going to say the only time because weird stuff happens.
Right.
Where MSNBC is slightly more in touch with what regular people are really feeling.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, she went on defense immediately. She was like, let's be clear, white male.
Right.
Abortion is the most important thing in the world.
I'm sorry. Yes, how dare he try to understand what people are really dealing with in the world. He's a white male. He has no idea. And I can say that as a white male. We have no idea what's really going on in the world.
No, not a darn clue.
I was immediately reminded of, for anyone who's studied World War II history of what Germany was experiencing, like extreme recession and inflation, and then Hitler and his cohorts literally blamed it on the Jews.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we've heard this before. Ugh, gross. And here Stacey Abrams is saying we're basically blaming recession and inflation on kids. It's like their fault that and that we have to get rid of them, and we have to have more abortion in order to overcome inflation and recession.
That's literally what just happened.
That is disgusting. It made shivers go down my neck. Like, we've heard this before.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just mad.
I just want to remind everyone, again, Thanos is fictional. That was not intended to be like an instruction manual of like, if you have problems, wipe out half your population. Not an instruction manual.
Well, it's crazy that you say that, because I remember after Endgame came out, I love to read all the crazy people, so I was reading Jezebel. Really terrible.
You are a sucker for punishment.
Well, I like to know what really stupid people are saying. So Jezebel wrote an entire, like, hundreds and hundreds of page article on how Thanos' plan was actually a good idea, and it's something that we should actually consider in real life, and how, yeah, maybe the murderous part was wrong, but like we really should be getting rid of people.
Oh dear.
And maybe we could like start with sterilization, stop feeding homeless people, and like just stop doing certain things. Yeah, it was insane. I was like, I can't believe people really think this is good. Like, they're actually inspired by Thanos the villain, and they said we should stop thinking of Thanos as a villain and more of a hero.
Those are the parts that you don't say out loud.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that you can think in your head, and it can be really awful, but no one knows, because it didn't come out your mouth. But when you not just say it, but write it down and publish it on the internet.
On a popular, like, feminazi website. Yeah.
I feel like it's just gone kind of full circle, because this is how Margaret Sanger started out with the whole like birth control league. That's what Planned Parenthood was originally named. And saying we need abortion to get rid of unfit populations, and we have to sterilize people, especially minorities, was super like just anti-human. There's no other way to put it. And so she started out there, and then we kind of got to a period where like Planned Parenthood had a influence over normal people. Their rhetoric was very effective in trying to influence normal people, of saying like, well, abortion, and this was Bill Clinton's mantra too, abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. Yeah. You know, they spoke to the reality that most people are uncomfortable with abortion. Mm-hmm. And so that was a move that benefited Planned Parenthood in the abortion industry in the beginning, of speaking to the middle and saying, yes, we understand that you don't like abortion and that people are uncomfortable with abortion, but sometimes it's necessary. And I think that that was more effective for them, and it was harder for us to combat than what they're saying out loud now of we should just kill all the people. And we're like, okay, everybody, they're saying exactly what they think. Like, all we have to do is point to them and say, like, do you want that? Otherwise, vote pro-life.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I'm going to have to start asking some of the students that we work with, like, what are you hearing lately on campus in response to these kinds of things? Because I agree, back in the day when Planned Parenthood and the likes used all these cookie cutter one-liners, it was actually pretty challenging to change someone's mind if you're out doing like street apologetics, which I did like every day. Mm-hmm. Talking to strangers about, like, well, what do you think about this? Or when do you think life begins? And they would quip these one-liners that I'd heard from Planned Parenthood with ease, and you could tell they had just absorbed a talking point. But as soon as you help them understand the reality of it, then they're like, okay, the walls start coming down. But nowadays it's more emotional, and people get really upset, and they want to firebomb a pregnancy center instead of quip a one-liner at you. And it's weird, man. Times have changed.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Stacey Abrams there is not doing any favors for herself or for her party.
Yeah, how's she doing in the polls? Any idea? Because this is crazy.
She's getting creamed. It is going to be a disaster for her, which is fine. The president of Earth, she'll just have to get a new job from Star Trek.
The meme I sent you.
Yes.
We talked about Stacey Abrams and the made-up manufactured heartbeat sounds and such. And so I sent Kim this meme, That's the worst thing Stacey Abrams ever said. It's like, that's the worst thing she's ever said so far.
Good point. We still have
And
about
that
2
was
weeks.
before she said inflation is children's fault.
We still have 2 weeks till the election, too. What will Stacey Abrams say
Oh my
next?
gosh, people keep giving her a microphone. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, she's running for office, and so that's gonna happen.
Anyway.
Yeah. Brilliant campaign strategy through and through. If you're struggling with inflation, have you tried killing your children? Yeah. Maybe don't say that. Maybe don't go there. So it's just making this bigger and bigger divide between sane people and the pro-abortion left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where we're going. But we're going to talk more about some more of the dehumanizing efforts of the abortion industry here in a second.
Right, because speaking of crazy things people say, there's an article that claims our fetal development science is misinformation. And we will get to that in just a moment after this break.
Come to our annual Celebration of Life Gala in Houston and celebrate the end of Roe v. Wade. Join us on Saturday, October 29th. We are so excited to announce our keynote speaker, former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, will be giving an amazing speech. Our battle has only just begun now that Roe has been reversed, and the pro-life movement needs you more than ever in this current era. Seats are filling fast, so follow the link in the description below to secure your tickets, and I hope to see you there Saturday, October 29th.
Save the date for Boots on the Ground. It's an awesome pro-life conference coming up January 28th and 29th. Come to Austin, Texas with us to march to the Capitol to celebrate the end of Roe v. Wade, to commemorate Roe v. Wade, and to learn from expert pro-life speakers on how to keep Texas pro-life forever. Come to Austin with us and hear from Ryan Baumberger, our keynote speaker who shares his personal story, and so much more. Book your tickets today, bootsonthegroundtx.com. See you in January.
Welcome back, friends. So, yes, you can join us at our Houston Celebration of Life coming up this weekend, which also happens to coincide with World Series Game 2.
Woo! Celebrate life and celebrate the Astros because we swept the series.
Oh my gosh. Kim is holding up a broom
I
right
am.
now.
Oh, yes, if you're
I've been
listening and not
waiting
watching,
for
Kim,
this visual gag.
Kim has been holding that broom for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, it's going to be very electric downtown Houston this weekend with the game and our gala happening on the same day. So, yeah, come, feel the vibe. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So we have a special deal if you want to celebrate the Astros and life. Link below.
Yeah.
You can only get that from this podcast link.
Oh, and we
Give
have
you a
some really
discount.
cool gear, Astros gear at the silent auction as well, so you can bid on that. It's gonna be really
There's a
fun.
signed Correa jersey. There's a hat that you donated.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff,
some cool
and I don't
stuff.
know anything about the Astros.
Well,
That's Altuve. He's the short one. That's
Go sports!
yes.
Yay, do the thing!
Well, I'll make Astros fans out of you yet.
Yes.
Doggone.
I am rooting for the Astros. Okay,
I
it's
suffered
gonna be
through
good.
years and years of the Astrodome days and really bad seasons. But I mean, I grew up here. I'm a Houston boy, so and I love baseball. So
Good.
now my children are also Astros fans, and
Raising them right.
yes,
Go team. So come celebrate with us. Remember, get your tickets in the link, and we'll provide a special discount for you to celebrate Astros and life. But that's only available here in the description.
cool.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Speaking of raising them right, yes, I have raised that pregnancy tissue all the way through to full humanity.
Yeah, so The Guardian published this article last week of like what abortion tissue, what pregnancy tissue really looks like at 9 weeks. And, you know, normally, like, I bet everybody has an image already in their head of what a baby looks like at 9 weeks. Oh, well, who are you going to believe? Your own eyes or My Abortion Network that is featured in this Guardian article? You would be shocked, you know, by the scientific consensus and all the research and everything that we've known about life in the womb.
For decades.
For decades.
Apparently it's all a
For
lie.
decades.
It's all a lie. So The Guardian published these pictures from My Abortion Network of what pregnancy tissue, they say, actually looks like.
This is what objective journalism looks like.
Or propaganda.
It's crazy.
Whichever one.
Because years ago, The Guardian also published about these photos taken in the 1960s of babies in the womb, and they're beautifully done, fantastic photography, and it's also, of course, just pictures of real life. Like it's just you can't avoid the reality and the scientific accuracy because it's a picture of something that is real. And so even The Guardian is conflicting with itself now by posting pictures of endometrial tissue and placental tissue and saying this is what pregnancy tissue really is. This is what a fetus or an embryo looks like at 9 weeks. And it's literally just a lie. I miss the days when you had to like combat a real argument and help someone understand, why abortion is wrong, instead of now combating a blatant lie and saying that it's not actually alive, or here's a picture of tissue and it's literally just endometrial lining.
Right.
Or placental tissue. Like it's not even the picture of the embryo. Like, where's the picture of the embryo? They're just completely lying.
Well, because then that would show a child.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It makes me so mad. It makes me want to throw a medical textbook on the table, like bang, like let's look at actual pictures.
Exactly.
It's not that hard. Go to any library.
They're not hard to find.
Yeah, go to any library. I mean, I have a friend who took an actual embryology class as part of her bio major, and I wish I had done that. It would have been so amazing. But I remember she'd come home every now and then with like homework and be like, look at these pictures. I'm like, these are breathtaking.
Yeah.
It's really not hard to find this imagery. It's been around for decades.
And The Guardian even admits, the abortionist quoted throughout this article, even admits that what they're saying contradicts the scientific consensus, contradicts, your own eyes and what we've seen and believed for decades from these pictures of life before birth. And so the article says, many images on the internet and in textbooks show development to be quite far along at this stage. But don't believe those silly textbooks. Believe us, My Abortion Network, because we have no agenda at all.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's terrifying. But Secular Pro-Life put out a really good thread, and we'll put an image here on the screen of what these images from The Guardian would look like if they were accurate, because the problem is not that the embryo is too microscopic to see at 9 weeks. That's not it.
No,
and that's
not at all.
That's what The Guardian wants you to believe.
Right.
That, like the baby is just so small, you definitely can't see him or her. Like this just looks like a loogie that you coughed up or something like that. That's what they're trying to get you to believe. But if you include the picture of the embryo, and this is not opinion, this is just fact. The embryo is about a half inch at 9 weeks, maybe a little less. Definitely visible to the naked eye.
Yeah.
And so Secular Pro-Life made this picture of what the embryo would look like in the gestational sac remnants that were
you can
included
see
in these
the
pictures.
eyes and the little hand buds. I mean, yeah, it's extremely small, but it's still very clearly human. And you can see the face starting to form, and I'm just like, just completely denying real science. Just photographs of real people.
The fact, too, that the pictures had all the color removed from it, too. This is straight up propaganda that they highly edited what they wanted you to see and believe in the outcome and not what's actually true and what's not. Yeah. The comments, though, I absolutely love them.
Oh, yes. The comment section is always the best part.
Yes. So, shockingly, and I really appreciate this, too, that a lot of pro-choice people came out in the comments and started roasting The Guardian, too.
Yes.
Because this was such a blatant lie. So, I want to read some of these. One here says, I am 100% pro-choice, but this is misleading. Firstly, the color. Secondly, the amount. I had a miscarriage 2 days ago. I was 8 weeks. There was enough tissue to make me bleed and bleed for over a week. Not to mention the fetus and its sac. Not to mention all the clots. Another person said,
"Well, that's so sad."
Yeah.
But even she's recognizing that, the humanity of her unborn child.
Yes.
Who was
Yeah.
miscarried. Goodness gracious.
This article is extremely hurtful and grossly incorrect, and it honestly feels like gaslighting. I lost my baby at 8 weeks, 1 day pregnant. The date and measurements were confirmed by 2 doctors at my ultrasounds. The embryo I birthed was 2 centimeters long, very discernible to the naked eye.
Aww.
And while the body proportions were wrong, I could see their face, fingers, and heart very clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of that, the placental tissue I passed was larger than both of my fists put together. I am and always will be pro-choice, but using incorrect imagery like this harms the cause and destroys your credibility. There are so many more comments just like this.
Wow.
The Guardian had to turn off and disable comments, limiting comments, because they were getting roasted from both sides, and they deserve it.
Yeah,
and
they do.
so I appreciate the intellectual honesty from the pro-choicers here who commented and actually called them out for this. And I think that we need more of that. But I don't think that's the direction that we're going. And that's really made explicit by this Guardian article that even in 2009, like you said, they put out this huge article about pictures that were taken of children in the womb and what life actually looks like before birth. And then now, 10 plus years later, they're saying like, no, it just looks like somebody like wadded up a piece of paper and like
I mean,
threw
it wasn't long ago. National Geographic did a huge magazine cover and series on fetal development as well. And nobody was complaining about it like it was pro-choice or pro-life propaganda. It was just science, and it was absolutely well done.
Even
Amazing.
about a month ago, and I don't think we got to talk about this on the podcast, but it was another time when Stacey Abrams said something stupid. So these come in pairs. So the last time Stacey Abrams said something just incredibly bizarre, which was about the heartbeats are manufactured. That same day, the Today Show put out this new study that said that babies in the womb react to taste. Like they have these facial expressions over different foods. So like the
that
baby
their
will,
mom is eating.
yes. So the fetus will like grimace if she eats kale, or like smile if the baby eats carrots.
I grimace most of the time when I
Tracks
eat
pretty
kale
well.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, sounds like that child's a human. And so
It was so cute to see those pictures.
obviously, like, that is not pro-life propaganda. That's not a story being manipulated for a desired end. It's just the facts. It's just what, and like nobody's going to accuse the Today Show of being pro-life and that they're on our side.
No.
0% chance of that happening. And so just whenever you see these studies and you know the truth, then that leads you to the eventual conclusion that, yes, life begins before birth and this life is precious. And if you believe that human rights should begin when human life begins, then surprise, you're pro-life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ta-da.
I love that you guys included in our article in response, like the both pictures, the Guardian article from 22 and the Guardian from 2009.
Yeah.
And how far they have drifted into just silliness.
Yeah.
Objective journalism at its finest, folks.
Indeed. So that's The Guardian. I reported those posts on Instagram for misinformation. We'll see if Instagram will take them down. I don't think so. So far, not yet. It's been several days. So don't hold your breath, but you can join me and keep reporting those posts. See if they'll be
That's
consistent.
not a bad idea.
That's
and I
so
need
funny.
to do that now, as I'm going to flag it for misinformation. Because let's be honest, if enough of us do it, they may have to do something about it.
I don't have that much hope in them, but maybe.
Maybe.
I do have hope in the Astros, though.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Hey, we've made it this far in 7 games.
Yeah.
No losses yet. That's amazing. So
Speaking of big
Go
wins, make
Astros.
sure you go vote too, because early voting is happening now and will happen for the next couple weeks. Election day is November 8th.
It is. And just there was a note you sent over from the polling data, and it was favorability among Hispanics for AOC versus Mayra Flores.
Guess which one is higher?
Love it.
Do you have a guess, friend? Veronica, you're the one who hasn't seen this.
I've heard that AOC is not doing so great.
It's pretty rough, but Mayra Flores is a plus 14 points.
Ah, yes, that's so good. Wow, that's way higher than I would have guessed.
AOC had said plus 6, and okay.
Yeah.
That's higher than I would have guessed.
Her. I mean, apparently she was caught the other day at a town hall meeting dancing. Well, this sounds weird out loud, but her constituents were angry and they started chanting against her, and then she started dancing to their chants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not cool. That is so flippant against your own people who you're supposed to be representing. Like, what? So people are really, really tired of her, and Mayra Flores is awesome.
Yeah.
She is.
She's really meeting people's needs right now, their actual concerns, and she's super pro-life. And so she is listening to her constituents and what they actually want. And guess what? They want pro-life policies, among many other things.
Let's go.
Right? Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in Houston this weekend to celebrate life and the Astros. Have a happy Tuesday.